Hi, everyone, and welcome to the Capricorn March 2023 weekly illumination reading. This is I Am Illuminated Tarot, a place for you to better connect with and illuminate your own personal spiritual importance. So hi, everyone, and welcome. I know it's been a while since I have posted here. Just like a lot of people this winter season, me and my family, we all got pretty sick in February, so we're finally getting back to normal. So I'm really happy to be here to start posting again. Now, Capricorn, in this reading, we're going to be taking a look at the energies for the week ahead. And by the week ahead, I mean basically 7 days from when you are watching this video. We are going to be looking at a challenge and an opportunity that are waiting for you here. So let's jump right in. Capricorn, we're going to be looking at the energy you're going to be bringing to the month. So that's what I'm pulling right now. Then we're going to look at what's going on around you. And then we're going to dive deeper into, again, the challenge and the potential opportunity. So let's see here. All right. So Capricorn, we have the 10 of Wands. That's both carrying a heavy burden and getting ready to put it down. So, and I like that because we have the 8 of Cups and the World in your environment, which is getting to a place where you are ready to close out a cycle, to walk away from something that's no longer emotionally fulfilling and to kind of put a hard stop on that. And it looks like internally you're getting ready to put down the burden of whatever happened in that cycle, whatever you felt you've had to carry this far up to this point, kind of on your own. That's really what the 10 of Wands speaks to, having to feel that we carry a burden on our own. You see this individual, he's holding all of these wands, but in the picture there's a home. Almost looks like a little kingdom, actually. And that's what this card also represents, the closing out of a cycle, and that it is a homecoming. He is bringing his burden home. He gets to put it down, and then he gets to choose the one wand he wants to pick up and start the next cycle with. And that's where we get to pick up the one wand of passion again. It's the reigniting of our flame, where when we're so overburdened, like this individual is, it's often hard to feel passion. It's hard for us to kind of lift our head up from that and realize, oh my gosh, there's a big, great wide world out there for me to explore again with a fresh connection to the self. And that's really what's going to be coming through for you here, because in your environment, we do have the 8 of Cups in the World. And the 8 of Cups is walking away from something that no longer emotionally fulfills us. It's something where we did dedicate a lot of time and energy and emotional investment into. And it's now at the point where we look at it and say, even though I put all of that time and energy into this, it is at this point, I would rather walk away in the hope of finding more than to sit here and continue to build or pour my emotional energy into this. With the World coming in, it says there's a hard end to a major cycle coming in for you here. And that maybe where you felt that you had to walk away from something, that is bringing in, and where you're feeling also we're going to put down this burden, this is bringing in the end to that cycle. Now looking over here kind of from the past to the present, we have the Star. Beautiful energy. That is the energy of that guiding, deep, residing dream or hope for ourselves that we follow, that internally we feel, externally we hope for, we look for in everything that we choose to do. And the Queen of Pentacles is the energy of nurturing something in the physical. It's really understanding the time, the energy, the patience it takes to bring the Star into our physical experience. This can also be one where we're taking the time out to really nurture ourselves, to bring that energy of the mother to ourselves. This can be truly when we say, how can you mother yourself versus maybe mothering other people? This is that beautiful energy of getting to that place. Now, what's interesting, Capricorn, is that now in the world of astrology, you actually harness the archetype of the divine father. So it's divine masculine. And for many of you, I feel like this is actually kind of balancing that out with you getting in touch with your divine feminine. Now, we all have feminine and masculine within us. That's the yin and the yang. Masculine is kind of outward, forward movement, and feminine is the open, receptive component to ourselves. We have to bring both at times into balance within ourselves. And I feel like at this point, right now, there's a shift kind of away from maybe the pushing and the masculine to get into more of the feminine, of realizing maybe you don't have to carry the burden yourself. You could actually just kind of sit and nurture at this point in your experience. And with strength coming in, this is learning how to control the inner lion that is within us. It's understanding, it's kind of getting to that place of grace under fire, where strength doesn't always have to be that outward display of aggression. It can actually be, as we see here, kind of this angelic being prying open the jaws of the lion, that sometimes we can face our own lion in that way, that we can be that angelic, graceful being. Understand the strength that we have, but that our strength actually lies in how we control the beast within and where we choose to use that and let it shine. And I do feel for many of you, this is a very pivotal time for you, especially with this kind of major closing out of a cycle coming through. Now, granted, many of us are going through this. March, for those of you who are not aware, astrologically wise, this is a month of truly new beginnings for everyone, for the entire collective experience, because we have major planets that take a long time to shift into different signs. This month, they are making those big grand shifts, and they will, the implications and the energetic transformations are going to stay with us, kind of a ripple effect for 3 to possibly 245 years. So there are this is the dawning of a new era. And but for you, Capricorn, this is kind of the dawning of a new life cycle, or a chapter in your life for yourself. And it's one where it's going to be centered around the pursuit of this star for yourself. And one also where there's kind of this rebalancing again of the feminine and the masculine, but also the harnessing of your inner personal power and where and how to use that. So I'm going to go ahead here and pull some cards. We're going to be taking a look now at the block that you're facing, or the challenge. We're going to be looking at what Spirit advises you to embrace to help you through that. And then we're going to look at what's the opportunity waiting to come in, what's going to help usher in. I think what's going to help usher in the realization that there is something now that needs to be moved on from. The beauty of, you'll have to excuse my voice again, I'm still kind of getting over being sick. But with the Eight of Cups really speaks to understanding that there are still 2 more cups to go between the Eight of Cups and the 10 of Cups. And the 10 of Cups is that ultimate feeling of bringing a piece of your vision of heaven down to earth to experience it made manifest. And so there's this realization of, okay, whatever I have, even though I have 8 full cups, there's more out there, and I have to turn my back on these to go in search of what is going to bring me to the 10 of Cups. It's the journey to the 10 of Cups. And it can be difficult because a lot of times, this can be like where we've sat here and, this can be where we sat here and, we poured our time and energy into a relationship. And now we're having to sit there and take a look at that and say, it's not fulfilling for me. And I know that I can go out there and search because when we think of the Eight of Cups, there are still 2 more cups. Now, the 2 of Cups in the tarot represents intimate and equal partnership and connection. And this may be that you have to say, okay, it's time for me now to close out a cycle with this individual in my life. It's time for me to go out there in pursuit of the person who will be that supportive partner for me now. I'm going out in pursuit of the 2 of Cups. Now, this could be around friendships. This could be walking away from a friend group that, was not supportive, and you're looking for, different kind of connections. This could also be too where there's just something in your life. Maybe you worked really hard to create a family experience, to build that home and to maintain that home and to everything that comes with that. But now it feels like a burden to maintain that. It's not, it somehow is no longer fulfilling, and it's time to maybe move on now to something that will feel more connected to, something that suits more of the star as it comes into view for yourself. So keep that in mind. Now we have and here's the 10 of Cups. I didn't even see that turn over. Well, here, as we're speaking about the 10 of Cups, I feel like it just magically manifested in my hands. For those of you who saw that come through, I would love to see in the comments. How did I miss that? Okay, so Princess of Cups is the Page of Cups in this deck. Page of Cups is the dreamer card. It's the inner innocent child who's like, here's my cup, here's what I love, here I'm innocently offering it up to the world and for anyone to see. Now, when this can become an actual block, because that's what this is showing right here, coming up first, this is your challenge, your block, that for many of you, you may have almost overridden your innocent child, the innocent child that lies within, with kind of the ferocious lion that had to come out and protect it at some point. Now, this could be because you were hurt. This could be just because this is how you felt you had to face the world, that you had to push down that innocent, hopeful, maybe even youthful part of yourself so that you could embrace that outward kind of masculine aggression. Or I have to be the one to do it all. I have to be the one to take the action. I have to be. And so I can't let that part of myself come out. I can't embrace that part of myself. And I think for many of you, part of the 10 of Cups is embracing your own cup, is embracing at its fullest that inner child who just says, but this is what I love, and this is what I'm excited about, and this is what I need in my experience to feel connected, to feel excited, to feel passionate. And it's with strength coming in on the other side, this is where we get the chance to actually, again, realize that strength doesn't always have to be that outward display of pushing, or of more of that masculine energy of I'm going to show that I'm right, or I'm going to prove this, or I'm going to come out against my attackers. This is saying it's that grace under fire. It's the realization of strength lies within. And when you get confident in your own ability to protect this inner child, this part of yourself that I think is yearning to come out, to see their star. So yearning to come out after you've been able to kind of mother it a little bit, that the strength comes from just quietly accepting that that's you, and that there's something in your life here that kind of got in the way of you being able to authentically show this part of yourself. Because in the middle, we have the Four of Swords as what Spirit is asking you to embrace. The Four of Swords is a time of reflection. It's a time where we get to kind of sit, as you see these individuals sitting here, you get to sit, you get to pause, and you get to reflect from a mental place, all those kind of thoughts that are continually playing in your head, and those things that you think you hold true. Now, this is where in the traditional Rider-Waite Tarot, it'll show a knight in repose with 3 swords hung on the wall and 1 sword next to him. And that is because he is reflecting on the 3 of Swords, the wounds, the truths that haunt him in a mental place that are actually not truth. They're things that were learned through experience or told to that individual from others outside of themselves that they then held true. And yet what the individual in repose realizes is, no, I have my sword, my truth, what I know about myself to be true. And that is the sword that then I get to take up into righteous battle, so to speak. That is my sword of triumph. And what I like here in this depiction, specifically in this deck, is that you see it looks like 4 individuals in a oasis with their 4 swords laid down in the middle here. And it's almost like they're each telling their truth to each other, their story of who they are and what they're capable of and how did they come to be. And when they get a chance after being resting around this kind of oasis, they get to stand up and pick up just their sword. Now, they got to hear other people's stories, but they're not going to assume that that is their truth. So this is that beautiful time to realize, what are those things that haunt you on that mental plane that you kind of hide your own truth underneath? Meaning, Maybe at one point somebody told you that you weren't capable of doing something, or somebody told you that you weren't lovable because they did something in love, in a loving relationship to hurt you. Or this can be when someone, or when you tried to do something and you failed, and you yourself adopted that mentality of, but I can't. And in there lies who you really are, and the strength and the truth of what, if you wiped all of those experiences clean and looked at them just as stories, as moments in time, what is your base foundational truth about yourself? What are the strengths you know are correct? And that is what's going to liberate you. That's what's going to bring in that aha moment, because it's also what the Ace of Swords speaks to. It's the clarity, it's the revelation, it's the new aha of who you are, the truth of who you are, the truth of what you're capable of. And that in turn brings in the Tower. And the Tower, as you can see, is a destructive card. It is one where spirit comes in to liberate us from the devil. It is where we have built a tower of our own making, where we felt safe and secure, and we told ourselves, well, it's better the devil I know than the devil I don't know. And what comes in after the Tower is the Star. And that's where we realize that, yes, something in our experience might have to crumble and fall. We might have to walk away from something that we have emotionally invested in. But it's what opens us up to realize that by hiding in the Tower, we had stopped ourselves from being able to see our guiding principle, the dream for ourselves. We had stopped moving down our path towards that dream. And therein comes the Ten of Cups, the realization of what your heart truly yearns for, of where did that innocent inner child want to be? What does this part of you want to experience? And if you're able to put down a burden of maintaining the Tower, then what are you walking towards? If the Tower comes down, if whatever this is that you've been maintaining for so long, if this relationship is done, if this way of being is done, if this career path is done, if this, if the home life is done, then what is it liberating you to finally allow this inner child to embrace? Okay, I'm going to pull some clarifiers here. I'm going to dive a little deeper before I pull some additional cards for guidance. So let's take a look at this Princess of Cups. What does Capricorn need to know about the Princess of Cups? Now, for some of you, this may actually be the Page of Cups. This could actually be children in your life. The Page of Cups can represent that. It can represent kind of this emotional, it can even represent an apology. Somebody coming very innocently and just saying, I'm sorry. And you having the strength to actually kind of accept that. And it could even be you saying you're sorry to someone else. It's time for something to change. But this can actually be children in your life. It can embody that innocence, and that maybe there's something here around having the strength to do something for your children. And this could be from the past, or this could, and maybe you had to bear a burden because of that. You had to bear a burden because you were doing something to protect your children, to nurture your children. And that was a burden that you long had to carry. But now there's something about that whole period wrapping up, or that realizing the choice that you made, being able to see the truth in that, and being able to see where maybe there's something here that, again, there's something here that maybe a tower has been built that needs to come down. And even if it is in defense of your children, you can say, well, now in looking at being strong, maybe that strength is just kind of having my inner reserve to realize, even maybe for my children, I need to make this change. Sometimes we don't look at it in that way, that maybe, I can speak to this, that children would much rather see you happy than to see you, keep the status quo and be miserable. Okay, so let's see. We have the Magician, which I love. And we have the Eight of Wands. Yeah, this is saying, Harness your own inner magician. The Eight of Wands is fast-moving energy. This is like, it's time to go. It's time to work your magic. This can also be swift communication. This can be where someone comes in with an email or a text message. But I do get the feeling for many of you, this is just that reminder of a lot of times the magic in our life comes from our inner child, comes from honoring that part of ourself that just simply loves something for the sake of loving it, or needs something for the sake of needing it because it makes our life experience more fulfilling. And I do get the feeling that if you embrace the inner child, or you embrace the children in your life, that there's going to be this kind of realization of, oh my gosh, I can do this. I can make it happen. So yes, strength, Five of Coins. There is something around, I think, a sense of loss, a sense of if I make this change, I will lose out. I won't have enough. I might be left out in the cold. That's what the Five of Wands speaks to. And this is saying to have the strength to see beyond that, to believe in your own strength of, I mean, look at what you've carried thus far. That's what the Ten of Wands says. Look at what you've done on your own. Look at what you've carried. The strength is to, yeah, I love it. The juxtaposition, the Five of Coins or the Ten of Coins. The Ten of Coins is the ultimate legacy of abundance that you want to experience versus the Five of Coins, which is lack, which is that poverty mindset of I will never have enough. And I never have enough. I'm always out in the cold, and I will never be able to have more than this. And this is saying to have the strength to see what you truly are capable of, to get past that kind of poverty mindset, to make this change for yourself. Could even be a change in perspective. Now, I don't see that here because I don't see the Hanged Man coming through, but it could be even a change in perspective to see. Maybe you've been looking so much at what you have and seeing it as not enough. And this is saying, can you have the strength and the grace to see it as more than enough? But let's see what's coming in for the Four of Swords. There's the Tower. So the Tower did fall out reversed. And I'm actually going to keep it reversed because generally I don't put reversals in my deck, but when they come out reversed. Now, the Tower reversed is when we are kind of having the Tower happen internally, where we are almost like bringing that energy inside and allowing from an emotional place those walls to come down. It's also where we're trying, I think, so hard to not let those walls come down, where we're trying to keep everything outside of ourselves stabilized and the same, but yet inside it's a mess. It's coming down whether you like it or not. And with the Three of Cups, there's this beautiful feeling of support, of people who you want to celebrate with, and others who want to come in and celebrate with you. And I think there's something here, because specifically with these individuals and what's pictured on the Four of Swords in this deck, it is an individual with others. It is not just the single knight in repose. He is reflecting with others. He's talking, he's sharing his truth, sharing his experience. And they may be all celebrating and saying, wow, look how far you've come. Yeah, great job. Like we herald this. Maybe after this, all these individuals will get up and move on and do something together. You don't know. So this may be actually a time to really reflect on where you've held yourself back, from really sharing from a vulnerable emotional place, from your inner child, from the magic that lies within, speaking from that place to others and allowing that support to come in. Okay, so then we have the Tower, and when we have Six of Swords, yeah, time to move on. The Six of Swords is that beautiful energy of transcendence, of moving on from choppy waters to calmer waters. It's basically saying we're done. I'm not going to sit here in the Five of Swords arguing the same mute point. I'm not going to sit here and try to, be the one that comes out ahead. I'm just going to move on. I'm going to let the Tower fall, and I'm going to embrace the new. And then we have the Page of Coins. It's beautiful. That's more childlike energy, where you get to go out with something. This is almost like the child who watches the tower be burned and fall and walks over and says, oh my God, look at this treasure I found. And they run out into the world to see what they can do with it. And that's really the energy that you're being asked to embrace right now, is to see what you can do. This speaks to having an ace of coins as well. So for many of you, you might have recently had something come in that was a little bit of an opportunity, that it was the seed to be planted. Maybe you have a little bit of seed money coming in from somewhere. Maybe you got a little bit of an inheritance. Maybe you just retired and you got something from that. Or maybe this can even be where there's even like a message. This can be sometimes the card of a messenger that comes in and says like, here's an opportunity, or here's what you can do. And it's suddenly like, okay, I'll take you up on that. But we all have to get in the boat and move on. And that's kind of what the Six of Swords always speaks to. It's an individual with others. Usually it shows a woman and a child and a man all getting into the boat together to move on from the Tower. Okay, and then we have the Ten of Cups. Ooh, and there's the Devil. Yeah. What are you holding yourself back from pursuing? What are you chaining yourself to say that I can't go towards my vision of heaven on earth? Justice. Yeah. There's something here around justice can speak to contractual agreements. So this could be you're holding yourself back from going out in search of your Ten of Cups because of a contractual agreement, because of a marriage, because of I told my workplace I would be here for 7 years, because of I have a mortgage on this home that I I'll have it paid off in 5 years. But is 5 years too long? Are you going to sit here and be unhappy for 5 years as you wait to pay off this mortgage? There's something here around that. Something here around what's holding you back is a tie to a contractual agreement. I don't always feel that, but I do. This is a very clear message coming through here. Now, we also have Page of Wands. So you have the third page here. Page of Wands is going out with that childlike enthusiasm and playing with your passion. Now, the only page that has not come up here, you have the Page of Pentacles, you have the Page of Cups, and you have the Page of Wands, is the Page of Swords. And that is when we go out to gain better context of our truth. And so just in that it's omitted here, that's really, I think, your focus is to see what you're capable of. What is how can you go out there to start to understand that truth and what you can be successful in achieving through starting to work with that truth. Okay, I'm going to pull final 3 cards here. This is a bigger reading here. This is a very emotional reading. I'm feeling very emotional. Like it's almost like letting those emotional walls of whatever you've had to go through come down. I love it. Door to Spirit and Happy Family. I mean, this is the card. This is the same card as the Ten of Cups. So this is really about that happy family card. Like, what is keeping you from feeling that happy family, that connectivity? The number 4 comes through here. That's the number of building firm foundations. And then we have Door to Spirit, number 32, which breaks down to the number 5 in numerology. It's the number of change. Now, it can be change and liberation. Freedom through change. And I like how it's the doorway. There's almost something here. I'm going to pull some clarifiers for this, so we'll see what comes through. But I really do feel that there is an opportunity to walk towards this happy family. Okay, yeah, Door to Spirit. Woo, Queen of Wands and 3 of Wands. Yeah, there's an opportunity that's coming in to allow your inner Queen of Wands to come out. That is the fiery, burning, passionate. It's the energy of the kind of witch archetype, the magic, that we understand how to work with our magic, our wand. When I said, if you get to put down this burden you've been carrying for a long time, you get to pick up the one wand. And now she gets to use that wand, and she wields it with authority and power. And understand that there always is a message that comes through. I hear it in my head every time this card comes out. It is bloom where you're planted. And that's what brings in the opportunities for you. So there's something here around that of really harnessing with the Magician coming in, of harnessing your magic to start to really get things going, to make things, to initiate. Now, I know I was saying, okay, you've been sitting, in masculine energy. Maybe it's time to adopt feminine energy. Well, the Queen of Wands she shows the true power of feminine energy. She is receptive. She stays where she is, and she works from a place of passion and magic, and that's what brings the opportunities to her. It's not that she goes out to seek them. It's that she embodies what she wants and who she wants to be. And that's what brings in the Three of Wands. Now, that may seem a little, counterintuitive against the Eight of Cups, which is, well, aren't you telling me I have to walk away from something? Or aren't you telling me that I have to let the tower go? That's true. But the Queen of Wands is going to let the tower fall because she's going to say, well, I know I can sit here and bippity boppity boo, rebuild the foundation again better and brighter. And in doing so, I might actually herald in something that is tied to my star. So if I have to walk away from a relationship, I know that I can very quickly build another firm foundation to attract the right person to me. If I have to walk away from a job or a career path, I know I can, no matter what career path I choose or what job I choose, as long as I'm working from a place of passion, I can bring in the right opportunities for me. It's really getting to that place of confidence in the self. That's really what's coming through, is through all the pain and all the burdens you've had to carry. It's the confidence in yourself now to be able to bloom wherever you're planted after this tower comes down. Now, the happy family, we have the Ten of Swords. I knew that was going to come up. The Ten of Swords and the Ten of Wands. Ten of Swords is where we've been brought to our knees, where we've had to go through that kind of darkest point in our life. But it says that this shows it's happened. It's done. that point in your life, it did happen. And the beauty of that is that it's time to release that. There is only one way to go up from here, and that is to stand up. And just like with the Ten of Wands, you pick up your one wand. From the Ten of Swords, you pick up your one sword. And there's that one sword again, that sword of truth, that sword of triumph, that sword of what you're capable of. It can also be that sword of clarity around what this happy family is for you, what that Ten of Cups really represents. Let's see if anything else wants to come out. Oh, and there's the Ace of Swords. Oh, you can't write this. And the Lovers. Yeah, what do you love? Clarity on what you love. Clarity on passion. Clarity on what you've held yourself back from. And it's time to lean into that. Life can be this passionate. Life can be where you feel that fire. Life can be where your inner child comes out to play. But it's time to let the tower go. I'm going to pull one final card here, and then we'll wrap this up. This is a lot longer than I was intending it to be, but this is a very, very poignant, powerful message coming through. Surrender to joy. I love it. It says, a key to positive change in your life is to let joy in and savor it. Indulge in random acts of smiling during both the hard and easy times. Keep surrendering to more joy. Yeah, keep surrendering to your Ten of Cups. And the more you surrender to that within, meaning letting the tower fall internally, the more you do start to understand that you can bloom where you're planted. You can bloom wherever you find yourself. You can bloom wherever the experience takes you. And that experience can take you to this beautiful place of love, of passion, of, again, getting back to that innocent place of connection. Beautiful message. There's a great opportunity here to make a very big change in your experience. It's going to usher in a lot of joy in your life. All right, I will leave it there. I hope you all have a wonderful week ahead, and I will see you all in next week's reading. Bye, Capricorn.